Okay. Because it's on 74, but it ain't the school's gonna be outdoors.
Yeah, because look where it's stumbling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right in.
That'd be better. I'm going downstairs. Over here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our third meeting, the second meeting this year, the second quarterly meeting, and glad to see so many of us here. And Dick is going to do our invocation for us.
Pray with me. God, we're grateful for the community in which we live and in which we share the celebration of life with one another. Thank you for being with us today. We know it's business, but we know you bless our lives as you bless our direction. Amen.
All right. The immediate past president has determined that we have a quorum here, and we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from December the 11th. And let's see, does anybody have any questions about the minutes? Yes. Oh, that's an umbrella. I thought it was a hand. Okay. If there are no questions or no concerns about the minutes, yes.
Is there any more copies laying around anywhere? Yeah.
Who's on the minutes? Who's the final?
Yes.
We're having a little trouble hearing in the back.
Okay, is that better? That's the best I can do. I can speak a little louder. You can. There are a lot of seats up front. Okay. All right. Is that better? If there are no further questions about the minutes, we'll proceed to I need a motion to approve the minutes. Motion to approve. Who? Oh, okay. Tony. Need a second on that?
Second.
Okay. That was Donna. All right. Yeah. The motion has been approved and seconded that we accept the minutes. So we will move on next to the treasurer's report and the fall report.
Did you receive your treasurer's reports in your newsletter? All right. Well, we have a little bit more money than it shows on there because we've had some come in May, but everything is in good standing as far as I know, and it's as reported. So on that, it's $25,240.88, but I do know that we have more than that now. The Vol Shop
For the Vol Shop report, we started the month of April with $63,425.24. We received receipts of $1,032.64 and expenses of $916.18 for a final balance at the end of the month of $63,541.70.
These reports are received as information. Do you have any questions?
The hearing aids, we can't hear.
Is that better? Okay. Are there any questions about the treasurer's report or the Vols report? All right, we will move on to the reports from the neighborhood reps, and I'll turn that over to Pat.
Good afternoon. Glad to see everyone here today, and we're happy that we have representatives from all our neighborhoods here, so it's good we have people from all over campus. We're going to have our neighborhood reps now introduce our new residents to each one of the neighborhoods and to give us a brief update if they've had any events since our last Residents Council meeting in March. I'd like to start with Bill in A building, and I think I'll go out in the, we don't call it the congregation, do we? So Bill, I'm going to give you this so you can use it to tell us who has moved to A building.
Right now, we don't have any new residents. We're planning a social with the B building?
Okay, well, there are a couple of people that have moved from Highlands, and we also have some new residents that have moved otherwise around. So Connie Beauvais, I believe now is moved to A. Is that right? Yes, Connie. We are happy to have you still on campus wherever we may find you, and now everyone is A building. And we also have Joyce Tafton, who has moved from the Highlands area, and she's moved into A, but they just moved. So our next update is going to be from B building, from Linda.
Good afternoon. There's really no introduction needed for Polly Carlin. She has moved from Highlands to the B building, and we are very happy to claim her, and we welcome her to our building.
And now we're going to hear from Pauline from Highlands, and I know we just had an exciting event in Highlands. We're still trying to get over the calories.
We had a social event last Friday night, and we had 26 there out of the 31 people. 2 were on vacation, 2 were sick, and 1 had a sick dog. The poor fellow had an operation. He was actually not doing very well, so that was needed to be home. And we don't have any new residents. We have 2 opportunities, and hopefully we'll have them soon.
Thank you, Pauline. And I hear Winston's doing better, for those of you that know Winston, the dog that needed the surgery. So now I'm going to turn it over to Tony and let him tell us what's going on at Lakeside.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tony. I'm in charge of Lakeside Heights. As far as I know, I don't believe any newcomers had come in. I checked with Sheriff. And I'm sorry? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? My voice carries without this. But anyway, we don't have anybody as far as moving in Lakeside Heights. As far as our events are concerned, we have one every first Saturday of the month, which is on Lakeside Court Street. It's a street party. And then the fellowship will be coming up in September. And I believe we have an ice cream function coming up in June, on June 5th. That will be all posted in the scoop. And as far as that is concerned, I don't think I have anything else to say. Well, you all have a great day.
And I say our newest rep, because she's still one of our newest residents, but not the newest, Allison from Waverly Terrace Gardens / whatever.
I guess that means I'm not a teenager anymore, but that's okay. We have 2 new residents that just moved in, Glenn and Lori Dennison, coming from, oh, you're separated already? They are coming from the Villages, and their sweet dog Moses is with them, and Glenn is a big golfer, and Lori loves all things music. Take note. We also have Tom, I believe it's Mook, who's on 579 Terrace Gardens Drive. I don't see him here today. He's been here for a couple of weeks. He's been slowly going back and forth from the north side of Lakeland. So he's here. We had our first social on 5/3. We had 29 people representing 21 households, so we did pretty good. Our next social is going to be a July ice cream party, and I guess that's it.
Thank you so much, Allison. You got a report, Lynn?
This is for Nora Rife, and we've lost, unfortunately, moved the Brickies, and they have moved to 255, I believe I have that correct. So the assisted living, 255, is their gain and our loss.
Thank you. I know we have had quite a few people that have moved to ALF, and of course they have their own resident council, but we all keep up with them well. Who gets the mic next?
Well, we're going on to the committee reports, and that will be Linda first with finance. The nominating committee had an article in the May Lake Hunter Herald, and there will be another one coming in June, and it will be discussing a little more about the workings of the nominating committee. And also we will be listing in the June edition the positions that will be open this year. That will be the treasurer-elect, the chair of the finance committee, and the chair of the nominating committee. So if anyone has any interest in those positions, please come and speak with me, and I'll be glad to give you the job descriptions for those positions, but they will also be in the June Hunter Herald. Now, just for a matter of fact, the two positions for the chairs are not chosen by the nominating committee. They are actually chosen from the executive committee and appointed by them. And then they will be approved by the resident council at large. And so, like I said, any interest at all, please come to see me. The people who are in those positions are more than happy as well to speak with you about what those responsibilities are and time. And they are all two-year positions, and they are all voting members of the Executive Council. Thank you.
Finance Committee next. Philip.
Well, I have a happy report, and I'm excited to make it on behalf of the Finance Committee. And I want you to know who they are. And Paul Collier is there, Ethel Deal, Roger McFarland, Jim Cummings, and yours truly. And they have been a tremendous, and Paula Biker, excuse me, Paula. And they've been a tremendous committee. They've worked so effectively. And so we have a happy report. Your response to the Activities Fund Drive has been huge. Our goal was $9,600. And your generous contributions made it possible for us to reach $10,090. Yes. And so we got all of our ducks in a row. Yeah. So turn to the person next to you and say, wow. Wow. Yeah. Okay. The suggested amount, as you know, was $60 per person or $120 per couple. And we had several large gifts. But there was one gift that it touched my heart. It was $5, a $5 gift. Because we did say whatever you can give is appreciated. So this precious soul said, I want to be a part of that. And so that is so stimulating, so encouraging, and such a blessing. I wanted to make sure you knew about that. There's one word that describes the response to this drive. And that word is generosity. And the Methodist Foundation has an interesting article on generosity. And it's a page and a half long, and I thought better of reading all of it. But the word generous comes from a Latin word that stood for noble. So if you were a generous person in those days, you were of nobility. Then about the 17th century, it came to identify a character, a generous character. Now, this was so interesting to me. Organizations that have cultures of generosity are healthier, happier, and even more effective. Psychology today says neuroscience has shown that giving is a powerful pathway for creating more personal joy. And you know, the Bible says it's good to give thanks to the Lord because it causes joy to rise up within us. And so this, you know, as I've talked with people and they've asked about the ducks, got any more ducks coming? And there seemed to be a sense of joy. And it's reflected in the generosity of the residents. And I just want to thank you so much for making this such a wonderful success. Now, we have a couple of people, leaders of groups, who are going to share with us today. One of them is Dr. Gene Scruggs, and he represents the Academy.
Let me see if I can get up here. Success. I got it. Thank you, Phil. You all have seen, I'm sure, in your packet, they now read this packet of Friday, a very important survey. Now, we don't want you to throw it away. You've got 4 places to leave it off, and it's not the trash cans. And you can read what they are. I won't do like Phil and read them for you. But we do pray that you will turn them back. Okay. The Academy, for those who've never been, you might want to come. You never know what you're going to find. The Academy has been running since 2009. That's a long time. And unfortunately, I've been every one of them. We had a new chairperson who, after 2 years, said, "That's enough," and threw it back in my lap. But we need to plan ahead. We need to find out what people would really come for. After COVID, we've had a tremendous drop-off. Not only that, there have been a lot of new people come who have no idea what it's about. It's not something like you're going to go to school. I'm afraid the word academy is scary. It's not that. It can be very entertaining, and often is very entertaining, but its intent is to stimulate your brain, okay? Now, we've had some very recent programs that I want you to know about, and I'm not going to take a lot of, that's all right, don't worry about it, just throw it in the floor. We've had some recent programs. Thank you. We've had some recent programs. Education opportunities for migrant students. We've had wellness from Allison. We've had political trends by Bruce Anderson. And we get Bruce anytime we want him. He'll come and tell us about things. We've had elder law with Scott Langston. We've had Bach Tower by Nancy March. We've had Antarctica by Bob Tebby. We've had Mission to Kenya by Etta. And we're going to come up on Cuba before the revolution next Monday. Try it out. Larry Rankin will be talking. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. You contribute so much to this community, and you're greatly appreciated. we had another speaker, Debbie Griner. I don't see. Oh, there you are, Debbie. There you are. Debbie Griner is representing the Veterans Fellowship.
You can call me doctor.
Doctor. Okay, doctor. Oh, well, Dr. Debbie. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's fine.
I'm glad you
Now we know.
Okay.
Now we know. So yes, I wanted to report to you about the Veteran Fellowship. We meet on the third Friday of every month in the morning for breakfast in the dining room. And yes, we do take a summer break, and that's coming up. But we are going to have a speaker this coming Friday. Our own Tony Costa attended the Flight to Honor, mission number 9, on April 30th, and he's going to be relaying his experience then. They leave at dark 100 and get back late. And they see all the memorials up there and experience the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and he'll have information to share us on that. I also wanted to highlight that this is Armed Forces Week coming up, and there's going to be some activities also with Memorial Day. But Mission Barbecue offers free sandwiches at their facility, and today is Army, May 13th, Marine Corps is tomorrow, the 14th, Navy is the 15th, Air Force and Space Force, May 16th, Coast Guard on the 17th, and all of the armed forces on Saturday, the 18th. There is going to be a memorial over at Veteran Memorial Park overlooking Lake Beulah on the 25th of May at 10 a.m. And it's sponsored by the Polk County NAACP. And in addition, one last thing I wanted to bring up was that military retirees and military family members will need to update their indefinite military retiree ID by the end of December 2025. Now, some of us, you've already told me that you've got an ID that's going to be expiring. This would be for somebody who actually retired from the military, not served for 4 years and then was discharged, but has a indefinite military retiree. We'll talk, Glenn, directly afterwards. And one other thing was the Polk County Rotarians hosted a Veterans Breakfast this past November 10th, and FPH was kind enough to supply a van for transport, and we had a dozen veterans and some of their spouses go with us that day. It was a great day. And that's the end of the word.
So these are two groups that are funded on the activities fund. And Debbie, thank you. Dr. Debbie, thank you so much.
When you earn a doctorate,
There's one more story. When I see a gentleman or lady with a cap on that shows military service, I go up and look at it. And then I say, thank you. And I shake their hand. And the last time I did that, the man said, I don't get very much of this. And so I just want to encourage us. You see this symbol of service to speak to them. I raised my kids in a free country because of the price they paid. So that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you, Philip. All right, moving on, we're going to the bylaws, the new bylaws, and I'm going to ask Paul to introduce those.
I was going to start off my presentation with a detailed outline of all the decisions we made and the process. But a wise soul told me, use the KISS principle. So I will keep it simple and do two things. First of all, I want to publicly thank all the members of the Bylaws Committee. They did a wonderful job. It was a truly collaborative process with everyone involved, and I enjoyed being part of it. And so I want to thank publicly Ethel Deal, Linda Demers, Neil Greenwood, Dick Huggins, and Jeannie Watkins. They were truly wonderful. And now, Madam President, I move that the Residents' Council today approve the 2024 amended bylaws proposal that all of you have in your hands now or received in the email to take effect at such time as we officially become Westminster Lakeland.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Martha seconds. Is there discussion? Does anybody have questions or concerns? Debbie. Dr. Debbie.
And Paul and I went over these for a while, but I do see that there are a couple spots that probably need work in the future, and that would be remote attendance and voting. How do we do that? And he indicated that, yes, that's been an ongoing issue and that it certainly should be addressed in the future, but I wanted to flag it up to the group about remote attendance and voting. We experienced a difficulty in getting together a couple of years ago. Right? Yeah. Yes. Technology is improving, and perhaps it'll be to a point where we can all use it. And the other thing I wanted to flag up was, and this is kind of uncomfortable, about our interactions with Westminster administration and management. It's clear that we have a conduit to talk to our executive director on campus, but who is our representative at the management level? And so you are, okay. And so you have a vote?
No. I don't have a vote.
Okay. She has a
voice. I have voice, but no vote. That's the doctor speaking. Yeah. Okay. Scott Langston is also on the. He's a voting member.
All right. So thank you. That clears up that question for me. So that was my questions and your concerns.
Thank you, Dr.
Is there any further discussion? Questions? All right, seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Wow. Okay. Do you have any general questions that you wanted to direct to the Executive Council about anything? Yes, Debbie did. Yeah.
So I'll take the microphone. Yeah. Thank you. That's right, I wouldn't. So the concern I'm going to bring up now is the Loving Care Fund. And it's because I'm coming up on my 3-year cycle where if you want to remain eligible for the Loving Care Fund, you need to supply certain financial documents. And it's supposed to be done on and the way the policy is written right now, it's supposed to be done every 3 years. And because of that, I went back to the policy and took a look at it, and there were some concerns I had about it. And I've already communicated them to you. I just wanted to highlight them to the general populace. Okay, so currently the LCF is administered and governed by the CEO/ED, FPH, CFO, and that stands for the Chief Financial Officer, and then the board LCF committee members. And the members of that board are the FPH board chair, the board secretary, the CEO, executive director, CFO, and the administrator of the homes. I know, a lot of abbreviations. A lot of those people are no longer existing in our current structure. So I'm concerned about who's administering, governing the current Loving Care Fund, because right now we don't have a CFO on campus. All right, so that is one of my questions. Who is occupying the FPH CFO position? I understand we're going through a migration, but this is how the policy is written, and so it will probably need to be addressed and modified. There's also a mention of a finance committee. It's not defined, but I believe it is the board finance committee, and who occupies those positions. Not our board, but the previous board that we had. So they are the ones that manage, and then that leaves the question, who is currently managing the Loving Care Endowment Fund? Since, yeah, okay. And then it also states distributions require the FPH Board of Approval. Not our board, but the other board. So how is that being done since that board does not exist? And then there's a reference to a complete historical disclosure. The parameters of the history are not necessarily well defined. So does that mean history since I joined FPH, or just the last 3 years? And this is part of the documentation to remain eligible for the Loving Care Fund. Let's see. So I'm concerned because I'm coming up on my anniversary of the every 3 years, and I just want to make sure I'm doing what our policy wants, so if need be, I can stay eligible for the Loving Care Fund.
Of course, we're kind of handicapped in the fact that Doug is on vacation until the 15th, and of course we have to go through him to answer these questions. Carol.
I would like to speak, I think probably on behalf of everyone here today, and thank Debbie for bringing all those things to our attention. Many of us have donated and have friends and neighbors that have donated to the Loving Care Fund and want it to stay solvent. Yes, thank you, Debbie.
Dick, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think it needs to be noted that the Loving Care Fund has approximately $14 million in it now. And this is a valid point, Debbie. It really is. And I, as a parliamentarian, whatever, I think I'd refer to the executive committee to do some action on this that needs to be explored, because a lot of things need to be rewritten and retranscribed.
I spoke to, we've been in communication, but I felt it needed to be flagged up now because we only meet once a quarter. And there's going to be more changes over the next 4, 6, 8 weeks. And so and in my case, I want to make sure I'm doing the correct paperwork at the correct times.
And I know that some who have questioned this to me, I said, wait a while before you refile anything, because it's not clear. And what Carol said is true. A lot of us have been contributing to the Loving Care Fund for a long, long time. And I think the balance of that is marvelous for our benefit, but we need to have clarification. And I think the executive committee has a lot to wade through in this, because we aren't clear with the paperwork we have now. And that's my recommendation, if it's all right with all of you, that it's referred to us to do something to come back to you. We may have to have a special meeting of the Residence Council itself. Right, to have clarification for the Loving Care Fund. It's not clear. And Debbie pointed this out, and it's fact.
Thank you, Dick. Well, that will be on the executive committee agenda for our meeting in June. Yes.
When we decided to join the committee that chose the group that we're with, who chose Westminster, they had discussed this because they wanted to make sure that this money did not go to Westminster entirely. It was to stay for our own residents. So it really should be clarified. Good, strong words.
That is a separate account, Marge. Yeah, that's a separate account. They are holding it for us in a separate account. Anybody else have any questions or concerns that they want to discuss at this time? Hearing no questions or discussion, I will declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's good to see all your faces.